1554 AD, 5448 AM. Pope Julius III ordered that the Jewish Talmud be burned everywhere. Solomon Romano burnt many thousands of Hebrew scrolls for the Inquisition. In England, the Catholic Queen Mary, later called Bloody Mary, announced that she would soon begin cleansing England of heretics. She meant Protestants. In 1555, she would indeed try just this. This year was 1,000 years after the founding of the imperial restoration of the Roman Empire by Justinian in 554 AD, and exactly 500 years after the division of the Roman Church in 1054 AD. A comet appeared over Europe, inspiring fear and awe. Further, the crescent moon ejected a bright arrow of flame into the night sky. In 1554, Gerardus Mercator published his Great Map of Europe, correcting many of the cartographic mistakes of his predecessors. Mercator's research included not merely the size, shape, and distribution of the Earth's landmasses, but also its history. Mercator amassed a tremendous amount of historical data and compiled a history of the world using the astronomical records of civilizations spanning back to distant antiquity, a chronology linking different dating systems and methods of the Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, and others. Mercator's Great Map of Europe actually exhibited those geographical areas that were then in 1554 occupied by the descendants of the migrating Israelites, this being exactly 3,000 years after the exodus of Israel from Egypt in 1447 BC, also preceded by a comet, and 2484 years, 414 times 6, after Israel became a nation independent of Judah in 931 BC. Interestingly, the Israelites in Egypt lived at Goshen, the region surrounding the Great Pyramid complex and Sphinx, the Great Pyramid being the pre-flood world's prime meridian, or 0-degree longitude-latitude. Because of an archaic global pole shift cataclysm, the Giza complex now lies on 30 degrees north latitude above the equator. Mercator's map was published exactly 552 years before Armageddon, a phoenix cycle, 4 orbits of Phoenix. Not only is the number 552 encoded in the chronometry of the Great Pyramid, see chronotecture, very prominently, by Nostradamus, who was aware of phoenix cycles and was cognizant that Phoenix would destroy the entire Western world, see 2040 AD. In fact, Nostradamus had so much to say concerning the destruction of the world by Phoenix that this author wrote Nostradamus and the Planets of Apocalypse to demonstrate it. In April of 1554, the secretary of Nostradamus, a Jean Aimé de Chevigny, began transcribing the prophecies of Nostradamus as the French Jewish prophet directed him. This collection was called The Centuries, and it fully details the major depopulations of the world in disasters in the exact years 2040 and 2046. 1554 AD is the Annus Mundi year 5448, which is parallel to the exact pyramid inch height of the Great Pyramid today, which lacks a capstone. The chief cornerstone is not present and will not return to Earth until Armageddon in 552 years from 1554. Once a capstone is in place, the height of the pyramid will be 5814 inches, as seen in CHRONICON 1 under the year 2815 BC, 1080 AM. The height of the Great Pyramid at 5448 parallels the geometrical value in Hebrew for the statement in the book of Isaiah that perfectly describes the Great Pyramid, Isaiah 19:19-20. The monument once exhibited millions of tiny inscriptions on its outer white limestone casing blocks that contained the wisdom and knowledges of the ancients before the flood, the histories and prophecies of future Earth. Interestingly, in this same year, Conrad Gesner finished his monumental work Bibliotheca Universalis, 4 huge volumes, like the 4 faces of the pyramid, which contained a catalogue of all the writings that had ever been compiled in Hebrew, Latin and Greek, listing over 1,800 authors and the titles of their works, even providing summaries of the texts. For this epic achievement, Genser was called the father of bibliography. In 1554, a method for extracting silver from medium-grade ores was perfected in Mexico. Later in 1563, Gerardus Mercator would visit the Great Pyramid and even write the date of his visit on the ancient stone structure. 1. Jewish supremacism. 2. The Bible fraud. 3. The secrets of Nostradamus. 4. The discoverers. 8. Pirates' terror on the high seas. 1555 AD, 54:49 AM. Catholic Queen Mary has over 300 Protestants burned at the stake as heretics in London, a largely unpopular move. Gunpowder was put in the fire so the victims would quickly die. Cardinal Pole affirmed in Parliament that Britain was the first of all nations to receive the Christian faith, an assertion made by others before like Virgil and Polydore. Pope Paul IV condemned Jewish usury and anti-Christian activities. An astrologer named Goricus warned King Henry II, who was then 37, to beware of death in his 42nd year, during the summer. Nostradamus would later warn the king of the same thing. 1. The Mask of Nostradamus. 2. St. Paul in Britain. 3. Jewish supremacism.